land and have destroyed more than 12,000 buildings.
And that is Fox's Jackie Ibanez. The Pentagon assisting firefighters with infrared imaging for perimeter maps. California Governor Gavin Newsom deploying the California National Guard for their support as well. Meantime, strong winds are threatening new areas that could catch fire.
On the ground and in the sky, firefighters continue to battle the fires coming down the canyon, threatening homes in areas like Mandeville Canyon and also in Brentwood, densely populated areas. That is the focus of their threat now. The winds starting to pick up a little bit more. And in addition to the firefighters being out here, we're also seeing a large law enforcement presence, police cars patrolling these neighborhoods and the ones that have been evacuated like Brentwood and Mandeville Canyon, looking for looters. More than 20 looters have been arrested so far.
And that is Fox's Griff Jenkins in Pacific Palisades, California. 3 New Orleans police officers who shot and killed the New Year's Day terror attack suspect getting honored during yesterday's NFL wildcard playoff game in Houston between the Texans and the LA Chargers. They were recognized as, quote, first responders of the game, unquote, by the team for their bravery in the face of danger. America's listening to Fox News.
The world of business moves fast. Stay on top of it with the Fox Business Rundown every Monday and Friday. Fox Business reporters, anchors, and hosts will bring you beneath the stock market speculation and boardroom drama to tell you about the biggest business stories of today. Whether you're on Main Street or Wall Street, Fox Business is invested in you.
Listen to the Fox Business Rundown every Monday and Friday at foxbusinesspodcasts.com or wherever you download your favorite podcasts.
It is time to take the quiz.
5 days a week, it's 5 questions in less than 5 minutes. We ask people on the streets of New York City to play along. Let's see how you do.
Including the pre-Super Bowl era, what NFL franchise has won the most NFL championships?
I'm going to say the Cowboys.
I guess I would say the Packers.
How'd you do exactly? These get tougher, so hang on.
Take the quiz every weekday at thequiz.fox. Thank you for taking the quiz.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
There's still a chance. It's 31 degrees and mostly cloudy. I'm Jake McDaniel. Here's what's trending at 11:03. You may have been expecting freezing rain and snow coming this afternoon, but it may not be as much.
We still do have a chance for light snow and perhaps some freezing drizzle as well. That'd be primarily during the afternoon and evening hours. Chances are relatively low.
Joseph Neild from the National Weather Service in Indianapolis, he says roads could still be dangerous for this afternoon and this evening. Be on the lookout for that. Indy Metro officers spent many hours into a shooting that killed a woman on Saturday. They arrived at the scene on Indy's south side where they found a woman by the apartments on Salisbury Lane, and they say she was dead laying in the snow. Officers are not sure if the victim was a teenager or an adult or if she lived at the apartments.
We're methodically going through every piece of evidence that we have in order to identify this victim and bring closure to this particular case.
IMPD Public Information Officer William Young, he says officers are looking for the person who shot and killed that woman. If you have any information, you can give the department a call. The 5-game winning streak for the Indiana Hoosier men's basketball team was snapped Saturday. Head coach Mike Woodson.
We can't have games like that when we get out on the road. I mean, you gotta consistently put yourself in a position where you got a shot and winning a basketball game, and we didn't give ourselves a chance tonight.
85-60 loss at Iowa. They play Illinois Tuesday night at 7. WIBC News Time, 11:04. Here's the forecast from the American Standard Heating Weather Center.
For today, cloudy with winds gusting to 25 miles an hour. A few spotty light snow showers or flurries possible this evening. Little to no snow accumulation expected. Highs in the mid-30s. On Wish TV, Storm Track 8 meteorologist Ryan Morse for 93 WIBC.
I'm Jake McDaniel on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
One of the real advantages that we have here at Hendricks is the scope of the services that we have to offer in orthopedics.
Whether they have a hip fracture or they're a high-functioning athlete, we're all working towards the same thing.
To have them be able to have an elective surgery safely and then go home also in a safe fashion is of utmost importance.
We very much want everyone to get back to doing everything that they were doing beforehand. We're really invested in it.
Unstoppable orthopedic care. Learn more at hendricks.org/ortho.
Joe Montana here. In my football days, I knew the importance of a strong defense.
Now I'm sharing how you can help defend your health against pneumococcal pneumonia and invasive pneumococcal disease. Are you 50 or older like me? The CDC now recommends vaccination against pneumococcal disease. Even if you're healthy, your age puts you at increased risk and over 6 times greater risk of hospitalization with pneumococcal pneumonia than adults under 50. Schedule your appointment today at vaxassist.com.
Sponsored by Pfizer.
Central Indiana. Hello, how are you? This is the First Day Show. It's kind of magazine-y if you're new to the area. That's how I'll describe it as that. It's kind of everything. I sit around here on a Sunday morning with my friends, Denny Smith.
Both of us.
Kielynn Talley, that's all I have.
Yeah.
I have 2 new friends that have just entered the building.
You know, the First Day Show is the best Sunday morning show in Midwestern markets, according to Barrett Media.
Oh, you're lying.
Well, according to Ethan Hatcher on YouTube, we're streaming. You can join the conversation. First Day with Terri Stacy. He is.
Hi, Ethan. Good morning.
Ethan
We'll see you in a bit.
And Terry Miller, Libertarian
Hi,
Dragon.
Terry.
Thank you all for joining us today.
We're glad you're here. I know it.
Fan club.
It is Kylan's fan club, and we're glad she's here to bring the 3 that have joined us today. Again, we are glad that you're here this morning. Hey, this is the warmest day we've had in a while, right? It's going to be about 30-something. And we'll take that because we've got bitter Arctic air that is moving in once again this January. It is January 12th. Hold on a minute.
January 12th.
I forgot I had these notes.
All day long. Oh, we had
Before we get introduced to guests.
What is
These are the
that?
things I
What
wanted
are
to
you
talk about.
unraveling?
I just want to make sure I have everything that I want to talk about. Okay, parking meters, they're going up. The roundabout at 96 in Allisonville. Let's see. Greenfield snow artist Rick Horton, he's built a giant octopus out
I
of snow.
saw it, and it's
pretty cool.
It's gorgeous. He said it's one of the hardest ones he's ever done.
He needed all this snow to get it. Governor-elect Mike Braun and others, they're going to take the oath Monday. Let's see what else.
At the Circle Theater.
Circle Theater. Oh, here's one. Hoosier Heritage Day. It's today at the State Museum as part of the inaugural weekend. So it's very family-friendly activities. It's free. There will be photo opportunities. Snacks, 1 to 4. Junior mints. If you'd like to go and celebrate this free event at the Indiana State Museum. I love that part. It's the Braun Family Day. You do need to RSVP if you're coming, I think. So do that. Again, starts at 1 to 4. Get your clothes on. Not a bad day. BraunFamilyDay.RSVP IFY. I wonder what that stands for. Iffy. I don't know. IFY.com. Braun Family Day, RSVP.iffy.com.
If you want some other free museum days, MLK Day is also Inauguration Day,
right.
the 20th, and that will have some free days at the Indiana State Museum, at the NCAA Hall of Champions, even at Indiana Historical Society and the Idle Jorg Museum. So that's another one if you want some free museum days.
I got a text message about when can we take our flags up to full staff after Jimmy Carter's Day of Honor.
After he dies.
Is there a flag on Monument Circle?
There usually is.
Yeah, down on the side.
It's still at half staff.
It's still at half staff. All right. So
it's still at half staff. By the way, lights have come down on Monument Circle. The Circle of Life officially over.
IBEW, that was the longest. Maybe it's because it's under construction.
It was long, but
took their time.
It was a long
Honestly,
time. Honestly,
it should have stayed up for another week so then they didn't have to deal with as much snow.
Yeah. You're right. Oh. Okay, so we do have guests in studio.
We do.
I got my notes out of the way. Parking meters are going up. So take it away, Denny. You go ahead because and make the introduction. Well, you're going to love everybody.
I made
Thanks
bail
for watching us on YouTube, by
I
the way.
got this woman out of jail. But anyway, I was going through my mom's stuff, and we found a whole bunch of old silverware. So I went to a place called Midwest, and it's off 96th Street and just back west of Keystone. And then I walk in, and all I said was, hello, I've got some. So she goes, you're Denny Smith. And so Sue Wickliff has joined us here. She is an appraiser of antiquities, and she's the one that helps you get rid of your parents' junk. But I asked her to come in because we have so many questions about. Well, that's basically
Sometimes
what it is.
Sometimes treasures. That's the hard part.
Yeah,
Not
Sue,
all of it
thanks
is
for
junk.
coming in.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Now, you
today.
have gone through this yourself with your own mama.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, and so, but we have. My mom was an antique dealer, Terry, and so I took in this 11 pounds of stuff, of silverware and stuff, what I thought was silver, very valuable. Mom had kept it in a special place and everything, took it in.
And what'd you tell me? You found she gave first of all.
It's
she
like
gave me,
watching Antiques Roadshow.
It is
$7.
$5. Well, I actually got $43 for a couple pieces, but the rest of it's going to Goodwill.
That's right.
Is that very common?
It's very common, and I have to say that I didn't handle you like I would everyone else and my average clients because I knew you could take it, take the truth.
Oh, you have a soft side?
I do, actually.
Yeah.
So when I'm dealing with clients that I don't immediately recognize and know that you're the adult child of the estate, so you need to know that.
Yeah.
And there's really 3 variables that I use when I am approaching people that I don't know. And I was telling Terry, I work a lot with the elderly, which is really odd because I'm elderly.
I was going to say, I'm right here. You don't mince your words for me, Sue.
We're right here with you.
But I've found that, it's a tough pill to swallow for our loved ones and our parents, our elderly parents, because they remember when these things were their treasures.
They were valuable.
And
at
they
one point.
still are their treasures, but the value, you hit the nail on the head. The value just is not there anymore because of market changes, and we can talk a little bit about that and what's caused that.
Terry, I'll tell you how I knew she was the real deal. Most of us have a basement. You have rooms that you have honored by people who have given you stuff, all right?
Inherited.
So I said, I was talking about my basement being full, and Dion said, if you were married to Sue, you wouldn't have anything in your basement. So I know she's the real deal. She just cleans it out.
How do you get to that, though, to that mindset that it's okay? It's okay to let some of this stuff go. Working on Caregiver Crossing for caregivers, I have learned over the years and listened and experienced myself. It's given to you in such a spirit, and you feel like, well, that was given to me. I inherited this. It is a treasure to them. They wanted me to have it. How do I say goodbye to that? How do I let that go in good conscience?
The
How
guilt
do you get
just
your brain?
hangs around your neck.
Right.
Yes, it does.
How do you get there, Sue?
Well, the thing, Denny has a basement full of things that he wants to give to Kielynn.
Look at this. She called them things and not junk. Is that sweet?
Because it is.
It's
They're
things.
Yes.
However, those things are not your loved one. Your memories are in your heart and in your head, and it's not that collection of silver-plated spoons. And where have those things been in the last year?
In the basement,
In the
covered
basement,
up in a box.
in
That's
a closet,
Right.
in the dresser drawer, in a jewelry box. You haven't seen them in 10 years in some cases.
So what is of value? Terry and I have all this stuff. Now, Kielynn, stand up so she can see what you carry around your neck.
I see that. Is that a class ring?
Yes, it's my dad's class ring.
Okay, I can see that.
Isn't that precious?
Well, she's got it on,
Yeah,
so she's using it.
Yeah. Right.
It doesn't lay in a drawer every day.
No one else can have this.
No one else can have it, and that represents her dad to her.
Yeah.
So I get that. But if it was at home in a drawer and Kielynn has not looked at that in 10 years, what's the point?
Yeah, you're right. Absolutely. That's Sue Wickliff. And we are going to continue our conversation. Kielynn, we'll take a break. Good idea?
Yeah, we'll continue.
It's 11:14. Thanks for being here with us today on the first day on 93 WIBC.
Tony Katz.
A good cow is a dead cow.
Day, the WIBC Sunday Magazine Show, 11:19. We're glad you're here with us and watching us also on YouTube as we stream live right now. We've got with us in studio Sue Wickliff.
You're
I've
not
called
the
her
only
everything
one.
wrong. Everything wrong the entire time. Wickliff, like a candle. Wickliff is who she is. Wickliff Consulting, is that correct? WickliffConsulting.com. That's WICKLIFF Consulting.com. Antiques dealer. Do we consider you an antiques dealer, a consultant? She does it all, really, and been at it how many years?
53.
53 years.
Not bad for a woman that's 62.
Denny met her. Denny met her and told me about her, and I said we've got to have her in because this is a topic when we talk about letting go of things. It's in the new year. We maybe want to reorganize and declutter and some of that stuff that we've had in our basements or just sitting around and not really even looked
someday.
at.
We got to have it.
Yeah.
I don't want to lose it.
But a lot of it is such precious stuff that has been inherited, and that's what we're kind of talking about.
She's like a caged animal over here because she is the downsizing professional. Downsizing is the hardest thing to do, isn't it?
Yes, and so I've changed the term downsizing to right-sizing.
Right-sizing. I like those words.
Downsizing seems negative to people because, like, oh, they're going to take away my stuff. Right-sizing is positive, and, we're all on this journey where we need less and less. And I think I heard the statistic one time that people use about 15% of what they actually own.
I bet it's less than that.
It could be.
You know what? Look how big the storage industry is. There's a storage units on every corner. We have so much stuff that we need storage for our stuff, and we don't even go there to look at the stuff that we've got in storage.
And we make fun of people on on these shows
hoarders.
like hoarders. I'm thinking, who are these people? They are us.
Yes,
we have
they
met
are.
the enemy, and they are us.
Well, there's two enemies, Denny, and one is a storage unit.
Okay.
And I don't mean to diss that industry, but
the other was my basement.
That's one. And then plastic bins, because if we can fit it in a bin, we're going to keep it. And humans use...
You are a heartless woman.
I love
You are
bins.
killing me over here. I just went out and bought the bins that I can see through, so I know what I got in there.
And you're going to go down and look at it and then go back to what you're doing, and that thing is going to stay in that plastic bin.
All right. So, Terri Lynn, how do we begin? Sue,
where do we begin?
How do we begin?
Start?
Well,
it's overwhelming.
It is overwhelming. I'm not sure that it's all about the value. And, we talked about the silver plate, which has no value, and it goes to Goodwill.
Right.
But I think it's more than that. And so when you approach this with your elderly parent or loved one, I think there's three things. One is tact. The other is compassion, because they're attached. And then the other one is truth. And we can't deny the truth that this has been a tremendous paradigm shift in the marketplace caused by generations. Younger generation, they don't want our stuff, and we need to embrace that and know that. And it's not bad, it's just different. And so not dissing the younger generation at all. Maybe they're the ones that are right.
You know what, Sue? I have a son. He's 49 years old, has a wonderful family, and we have given him things over the period of time. Sometimes they give them back.
Yes.
And they say, thank you very much, we love you, but we can't use this. We don't know what to do with it.
We don't want it.
Well, he's a little bit more tactful than that, but that's the way it goes.
And
Kielynn?
how about timelines for giving stuff? If you wanted to, if that was on the horizon of forgiving stuff, I know for me, whenever I moved into my apartment, I didn't have stuff, so I was taking in everything. I was taking old paintings from my grandma. I was taking dishes from my mom that were sitting up in the attic. So how about the timeline of stuff?
Well, you were using it. Yeah, you were using it. I always tell my, especially elderly clients, that if you want your granddaughter to have these things, what are you waiting for? They're in Denny's basement or someplace else. Give it to them now. And if they decide to discard it, that's not a personal thing against you. That's how it is.
That's how
and
it is. That's
accept
a hard
that.
pill.
It is a hard
pill.
pill.
So she's giving you a clear conscience that if you don't want the stuff, the old dishes of your mom and dad, get rid of them. Don't give them back. Give rid of them.
It is a hard pill to swallow.
It is.
That's for sure.
Right, Sue, what about antiques? In my basement, I have the working tools of my three great-grandfather who made wooden bridges. He made covered bridges. And I've got all these hand-hewn tools. My dad has refurbished all of them. I don't even know what to do with it. My son doesn't want them.
No.
My brother doesn't want them. And what do you do with those type of heirlooms that are just precious?
Well, I would challenge you that if they're so precious,
I don't know. Here we go.
then why aren't they out on display in a decorative manner?
Because my wife would kill me.
Exactly. So if you truly love Jane,
I do. Mackie, are you listening? Oh, boy.
Then there's ways to dispose of them. Go to an expert. I'm certainly not an antique tool expert. But
you
there's
know
somebody out there.
But Wickliff Consulting can put me in touch with these people.
Yep.
I like the Antiques Roadshow. I can't help it. I watch it and I love it.
He makes me mad.
And,
I think he's got a
well, there's a whole
heart.
bunch of different appraisers, if you will, for obviously different things. For you, you're appraiser, right?
Yes.
An appraiser?
Yes.
I want to hear about a moment that somebody brought you something that they didn't think was worth much, and you looked at it and you were like, wow, you've got something really... You need to put this. You need to have this. Don't get rid of it.
Well, my favorite one, Terry, is I had a call from a young man. Grandfather had passed away on Washington Boulevard, so nice old houses, and his mother was the heir, and he was the grandson, throwing all this stuff in the dumpster, and she was having a garage sale in the front yard. And so when I got there, I chose to look in the dumpster and not the stuff that they were selling in the front yard, because that's probably where the treasures are going to be. There were 3 oil paintings by one of the Hoosier Group artists, Brown County, and they had holes poked in them. They were black because they'd been up in the attic.
Oh, my gosh.
I took them. I had a local restorationist do the work on the paintings. Those 3 paintings brought $65,000 at my auction.
Wow. Oh. And they were going to throw them away. They were in the trash bin.
Mom had, and she said, son, you can have anything that's in the dumpster. So
listen to this.
This is why we hang on to things, Denny, because you don't know it.
I just got this text message from Jane. She goes, I'm listening. I love this woman. She's ready to clean out that stuff that I got in the basement.
I know it, but I love hearing these stories about some of these things that are of such value.
Yep.
Is there any, when it comes to antiques, and we've been talking about this for a while now, about this younger generation that we try to pass things on to, and they're not into it. They don't want it, and they're very clear about it, which, again, maybe they're right, doing it right. But how do we, when it comes to getting rid of that stuff, those beautiful things that we have, and is there anything that anybody wants right now when it comes to antiques? What's hot, I guess, is the question.
Well, what's hot is precious metals, gold and silver, not necessarily for what it is. For example, estate jewelry. There's pieces of estate jewelry that are 18-karat gold that women purchased in the 50s, 60s, 70s, and they're very heavy. And that's when gold was a few $100 maybe, and now it's $2,600 an ounce.
That's right.
Gosh.
So that, and then Guy Ralford will appreciate this: firearms, hot commodities,
Antique firearms,
Any
period,
firearm.
or firearms period.
All right, Suze, how do people get in touch with you?
Very interesting.
Yeah, it's wickliffconsulting.com.
wickliffconsulting.com, and I also consult 3 days a week at Midwest Jewelry and Bullion,
Which is where I met the babe. She was really sweet and very nice, but
I'm nice, but I'm a truther, and
That's what you
just
need.
have
she
to
should have
be.
been a bill collector.
She's
Is
been
what
at
she
it
should
for
have
50
been.
years.
She should have been a bill collector.
No, and I want to say this too, because when you have that challenge of now mom or dad or grandma is going to move into a retirement community and or a nursing home, and they can't have all of that stuff, and you've got that task of going in and finding out what we can do with all of this stuff that she's had for 50, 60 years or whatever. You're here to help them, and that's really your passion.
I have one last question. I got Grandma B's, Jane's grandma's treadle Singer sewing machine. Any value to that?
Very minimal.
Very minimal.
Yeah, see, it's
I'm
It's a
I'm
tough
going to get
time
a
for
whole
antiques.
new man cave just by cleaning out some stuff.
Well, maybe so.
There we go.
So nice to meet you both. Thank you for coming in. I
Thank
know
you
you've
for
been
having
supporting
me.
this radio station for a long time, and I'm truly grateful for that. And I hope you'll come back and see us.
Love to.
Okay, good deal. All right, coming back in just about, I don't know, a few minutes. We've got the news coming up next. You need to hear that for sure. Thanks for joining us here on the first day on 93 WIBC.
Greetings from R&R Agency, your Indiana Health.
So come and get it like I'm living my best.
93 WIBC. I am not a good cook. You know that, but I do love recipes and I love cookbooks. And a cookbook is the Blue Zones Kitchen 100 Recipes to Live to 100. It's published by National Geographic. I'm thrilled to meet the author and founder of Blue Zones, which is an organization that helps Americans live longer, healthier lives, Dan Buettner. Dan, how are you?
I've never been better in my whole entire life.
Dan is a three-time New York Times bestselling author who has gathered 100 recipes for longevity from the Blue Zones. And the Blue Zones, how do you tell us about the Blue Zones? How many are there?
5 blue zones. This is a 15-year-long project for National Geographic. So we found the statistically longest lived women in Okinawa, longest oldest men in Sardinia, Italy. We found an island in Greece called Icaria where people live a long time and stay sharp till the end. Nicoya Peninsula of Costa Rica, best chance of reaching a healthy age 90. And then the longest lived Americans are among the Seventh-day Adventists in Loma Linda, California.
The blue zone, the people in the blue zones living to 100 years old, it's more than just diet, isn't it?
Well, it's not exercise. My first 2 books, The Blue Zones and The Blue Zone Solution, really laid out the whole ecosystem. It's a combination of a number of small things, and the most important idea is that instead of trying to change your behavior, we learn from Blue Zones that you want to change your surroundings, and that's what yields to the long term. But I find that people's entryway to a healthier lifestyle is through their mouth. That's why I wrote the Blue Zones Kitchen, and this book is a coffee table book, but it's also a recipe book, and I did the science reporting, wrote it just like I would write a National Geographic article with the National Geographic photographer David McLean.
And you've got 15 years of research behind this. And so when we talk about those top longevity ingredients in some of these recipes, what are some of those top ingredients?
So traditionally speaking, 90 to 100% of the Blue Zones diet is plant-based whole foods, very high complex carbs, about 65%. And the pillars of every longevity diet in the world are whole grains, greens, tubers, things like sweet potatoes, nuts, and beans. And if you're eating about a handful of nuts or a couple of beans every day, it's probably adding about 4 years to your life expectancy.
What is the world's greatest longevity food, would you say?
A couple of them. Sweet potatoes. The longest lived women on the planet, the first 50 years of their life, over half of their diet consisted of sweet potatoes. They also eat more tofu than anybody else in the world, so there's something there. But also I really think it's beans. They don't sound exciting, but, beans deliver more protein ounce for ounce than beef does at about 1/5 the cost, so everybody can afford it. And what we learned from Blue Zones, and I put a bunch of these recipes in the books, is how to make beans taste good.
Tell us about Sardinia, where you found 9 members of the Mellis family.
Yes, so they're in the highlands of Sardinia. They're 9 members, collective age 861 years, so many of them were living over 100. They had the exact same lunch every day of their life, a sourdough bread, which is metabolically very different than regular white bread, a true sourdough, very important, a minestrone, a recipe of which I have in the book. It's 5 beans with olive oil, garlic, onion, finished with a beautiful olive oil, absolutely delicious, and then a small glass of red wine with that meal. You don't have to eat it, but they ate that same lunch every day of their life, and that ought to tell you something about what we might want to do if we want to live a long time.
You mentioned sourdough bread. Bread is my weakness. It truly is, and I would love to have bread at every meal. Sourdough bread, though, you said a true sourdough bread is not so bad for you.
That's right. So sourdough bread is leavened not with so much with yeast, but with a bacteria called lactobacillus, and that metabolizes almost all of the glutens. And this has been reproduced 20. If you're eating it twice, if you're eating a sourdough bread with your lunch, it lowers the glycemic load, or it slows the absorption of the sugars in that meal down by about 25%. And that's really important with a country that people are suffering from diabetes and obesity. It helps make sure our energy goes to our muscles, not to our bellies.
Dan Buettner is with us. He is the founder of Blue Zones that we've heard about for years now. The time of day that they eat, that has something to do with longevity, do you think?
Remember this: breakfast like a king, lunch like a prince, and dinner like a pauper. So they're all eating huge breakfasts and little or no dinner. So that makes a difference. I also think having a ritual of expressing some gratitude before a meal. And we see that in Okinawa with Hara Hachibu. We see it among the Adventists with a prayer. But putting some punctuation between the busy and hurry of our lives, and then you slow down and eat. Better chance you're going to eat nutritious food, better chance that you're going to take the time to eat the food and give your belly a chance to tell your brain it's full, rather than going too far like most Americans do.
Give us just a couple of examples that you say include, and they do include, those top longevity ingredients that we would find in the Blue Zones kitchen.
Yeah, so very simple one, a 2-ingredient. This is from Okinawa. So in Okinawa, about 75% of their dietary intake until about 1970 came from one food, and that's the purple sweet potato. You can find it in most grocery stores, but you can use a regular sweet potato. And you mash that with a little bit of coconut milk, and those two combine almost all the fats, the protein, the complex carbohydrates, the beta-carotene, the antioxidants. It is a phenomenal food combination that you can make in just a few minutes, and an Okinawan favorite.
The combination is an important part of all of this, isn't it? It's combining ingredients that make them the most powerful. It sounds like, right?
That's right. So we're a country obsessed with protein, and actually the average American gets about twice as much protein as they need. But people didn't realize that if you combine a bean with a grain, you get a whole protein. So, for example, a Costa Rican corn tortilla with bean taco, or a pasta fagioli and we have that in the recipe in the book from Sardinia, which is a pasta, which is wheat and beans, or a minestrone that has beans and barley in it. These have as much protein as a 3-ounce steak without any of the hormones or the saturated fat or the environmental damage or suffering that comes with eating meat.
Blue Zones Living. It's a design for easy health, setting up our surroundings. Give us an example of the homes of those in Blue Zones.
There's not a TV in the kitchen, so you're eating mindlessly. They tend to eat off of smaller plates. We're all going to eat a little bit of junk food, but having a junk food drawer so it's out of the way and not on the counter and tempting us. Putting your family room on the second floor, so you have to go up and down the stairs if you want to go get a snack. Only having one TV in an out-of-the-way place so that you encourage social interaction. These are all things that are not only things we see in Blue Zones, but there's actually an evidence underpinning that shows us that it'll help us.
Dan Buettner, what a pleasure. I don't have nearly enough time with you. The Blue Zones Kitchen, 100 Recipes to Live to 100, published by National Geographic, available at all wherever we can get books, Amazon, every place, Dan?
That's right, and you can find out more about it at bluezones.com.
I sure hope. Bluezones.com for more information. Dan, thank you. We wish you happy holidays, and we appreciate all the good information. Thank you, sir.
You are a delight. Thank you so much.
It's 11:42. I'm Terri Stacy, along with Denny Smith and also our friend Kielynn Talley that's running the show today. Before we get into the break and coming back with Denny's Dollars and Cents, did you know that the Social Security Trust Fund is expected to run out of money in less than 10 years? According to Barron's, the average couple could lose up to $16,500 every year in Social Security income. Multiply that by, 10 or 20 years, and it could easily add up to hundreds and thousands of dollars. And that's why it is critical you have the right strategy to file for Social Security. Discover how you could wring every nickel out of your benefits with a free, customized Social Security analysis. It's from Bill Demery. You've heard me talk about Bill for years. He's my retirement guy. And he's your retirement guy, too, right here in Indy. I trust Bill, and you can do the same. So if you've saved more than $200,000 and have not filed for Social Security, schedule your free analysis by calling 317-349-5212. That's 317-349-5212. Welcome
Get
home.
ready.
You got a friend in
Denny.
Oh, boy.
You got a friend in
Denny.
when the road
You know,
looks
every 16-year-old's dream that a woman would sing to him. I didn't expect it to be you two.
What is that supposed to mean?
It's a compliment.
Just
but
remember what your old friend Denny said.
I waited 50 years for this.
Friend in Denny, oh yeah. You've got a friend in Denny. Woo!
All right, so there was some census data that was posted from 2023, and it had to do with average American income. And it went back to 1967. I was in high school in 1967, but the average income at that point, believe it or not, or the median income, $54,000.
Oh,
that was
okay.
all Americans.
1967?
1967, and then also that aid or that group made up 54% of the population. Now there have been people who have been prognosticating that the rich are getting richer and the middle class is going away, and the poor are getting poorer. It's absolutely true, and the information is available on the internet.
I mean, on there too.
Probably on there too, but there's been no snow treatment. And what it's telling us is that our middle class is getting bombarded with income issues. So here I am looking at the average monthly income, and I don't think either one of you will guess on this, so we're going to do it by annual.
And this is your average annual income?
Average income. What do you think the average income is across America?
For one person?
A family.
For a family?
Yeah.
Both working?
I have no clue.
I would say, is it less than the 54? I would say it's probably right around still the same.
The interesting thing is it's $101,000.
Oh, that's a lot more than
It's
that.
a
Oh my
lot
gosh.
more.
Yeah,
But
it was
here's-
definitely not that.
But what's happened is
Terry,
that
can you imagine if we made that?
I was low.
ladies, let me.
Okay.
What's happened is because of the depreciation of the dollar back in 1970, and if we take $1 in 1970, take it all the way up to 2024, that dollar is only worth a half a penny. So when we compare and we say that inflation has really been hurting the middle class, it's an absolute fact. It's no longer up for debate because the census dollars that have been published are eye-opening. Housing makes up 25% of our income. Now, Kielynn, you have come out of the family housing situation, and now you're on your own.
Yep, I left the nest.
What percentage of your income goes to housing? Ballpark. Because the average annual is 25%. So if you make $1,000 a month, $250 is going into your rent. You got any idea?
I've never broken it down to that. I would say it's probably about less than half.
Yeah,
but
I'll leave you
I
the
don't know about
data, but
fourth.
what we are seeing now is that when we look at housing and taxes and transportation and savings, that makes up the majority of our income. That takes up the majority of our income. So things like eating out, entertainment, apparel, education, there's no money left, and the middle class is really getting crushed. Here's an interesting statistic. In 1967, nearly one-third of households made less than $35,000. Now, it's adjusted to 2023 dollars. And in 2023, that's fallen to one-fifth. So what we are seeing is that the poor and the middle class, and I'm not a rich guy. I still have income issues, and the purchasing power is going down. And we say, well, how does that happen? It's because the Federal Reserve has to choose between supporting the United States dollar or supporting the United States people. And they've made it perfectly clear who they are going to support. And it's not us, it's the government. So in the last 2 months, just in the fiscal year starts on October 31st, okay?
Okay.
So for November and December, how much of a deficit do you think the United States of America ran?
Oh.
You're going to be flabbergasted.
Give me the number.
$670 billion. That's how much they're spending more. Yeah, so what the Federal Reserve does is they buy that deficit. We have to issue bonds for it. Nobody else wants our stinking bonds, not the Chinese, not the Japanese. Nobody wants to buy our bonds anymore. So who buys them? The Federal Reserve. And when they do that, they pour more cash into the system than what the system can handle. That is the definition of inflation. We've got more dollars chasing the same goods. And so the poor middle class, the poor, and even what I would call the upper middle class have been slammed. So if you think that your wages aren't making it, folks, you are normal. In 1967, less than 2% of American households made more than $200,000 a year. In 2023, that number has risen to more than 1 in 10. These are incredible statistics, and it lets us know that our government has not been very kind to us. In fact, they say that they're always looking out for us, and indeed, they're looking out for themselves. So when your congressmen and when your senators say that they're going to support the American way and we've got to spend this money here, here, and here, the one that always gets me is when it goes to Ukraine. Here we got people in North Carolina that are just absolutely slammed after that hurricane.
Yeah, still suffering.
And now we've got all the fires in L.A., and you talk about clown-type leadership in the mayor of Los Angeles and the governor of California. They couldn't find their poop in a well-lit room. And these are the people that are spending money hand over fist, and the way they spend the money, it has to be paid for someplace, so the Federal Reserve ends up buying our bonds, and we're just going deeper and deeper into debt.
Everything just feels like such a mess, Denny.
Oh, Terry.
I mean, it really does. And decisions that are being made right and left, and you just think, what are we doing?
What are we doing? Exactly.
What are we doing?
I'm confused. Why are we always taught the first thing you should take care of is don't stay in debt. Take care of your debt. But then
exactly right,
they
Kielynn.
They turn right around.
Right.
Yeah.
What do you expect?
Do you know what the federal debt is right now? That you're going to die. $37 trillion. It's incredible.
What comes after trillion?
Quadrillion.
And then what?
Quintillion, septillion, hextillion. I don't know. It's a bunch of zeros. I mean, more zeros than we can even contemplate. But here's the thing: we're going to have an inauguration a week from tomorrow.
Yeah.
And the new president is going to be nailed. He is going to be handed a dish full of bird guts. I don't even know I don't know how anybody can handle what he's going to be handed. And it's getting worse. And I think that the outgoing administration has gone out of their way to make it even worse. I mean, this is a stewed septic tank refuse that you just cannot believe. And it's going to get worse. I'm not predicting a recession, but we finally got the yield curve uninverted. And normally once we get the yield, you know what the yield curve is, Terry? That means we pay more for longer debt. For like a 30-year bond that you hold, we're going to pay you a higher interest rate than for maybe a 1-year bond. And a 10-year bond is right in between that. And that got inverted during COVID and a few other things. Well, it finally uninverted. So if you're going to only borrow money, if you're going to buy a bond that's 90 days, you're going to get less interest than if you buy one for 10 years or 30 years. That yield curve uninverted. And normally that's the predictor of a recession to come. And you go back and you look at the statistics from the Census Bureau, and it's coming, and it's going to come fairly quickly in 2025. What we don't know is how the stock market's going to react to that. We don't know, really how the Federal Reserve is going to react to that. But my prediction is that the Federal Reserve is going to be covering poop in a sandbox better than a cat. They're going to look after the federal government.
Right.
And Kielynn, you make a good point. When you say, Denny, you always say, get out of debt. Well, if you're out of debt, then you don't have to pay interest rates.
I don't know where we're going to find the money to buy Greenland. I just looked. It would cost between $12.5 billion to $77 billion. Where will we find the money for that?
Into debt.
They're just going to print it, but don't blame the idea, because really it is that Arctic area. Greenland is going to be absolutely loaded with very special minerals.
But why do we want to go and dig it all up?
Because we don't want the Chinese or anybody else to get it. The one I like the best is what they're not going to call it the Gulf of Mexico
anymore.
Hey, I know you're not a big fan of Trump.
Just some of these ideas I'm not a fan of.
Well, don't be a fan of spending $657 billion in 2 months. It's going to be a wild year. Anyway, if you feel like you're being squeezed, you are.
On that note.
And Kylyn's looking.
I like that.
All right. I wish you the best, but pay attention. What you feel in your gut is that you're not making as much money. You're not. If you're making more money, your cost of living has gone up, so you're still screwed. You really are.
That's Denny
Happy
Smith with
Sunday.
Dollars and Cents. Happy Sunday to you. We've
bluebird
got
of
another hour to
happiness.
come.
That's right.
I think we're going to talk to Brian Poynter in the next hour, and we're also going to talk about Indy Ignite, which is pretty cool. We'll do that, but first, did you know the Social Security Trust Fund is expected to run out of money in less than 10 years? More good news. According to Barron's, an average couple could lose up to $16,500 every year in Social Security income, and you multiply that by 10 or 20 years, and it could easily add up to hundreds of thousands of dollars, and that is why it is critical that you have the right strategy to file for Social Security. Discover how you can do that and wring every nickel out of your benefits with a free, customized Social Security analysis. And this comes from Bill Demery. He's my retirement guy, been that for a long time now. Your retirement guy, too, right here in Indy. I trust Bill, and I promise you can, too. So if you've saved more than $200,000 and have not filed for Social Security, you can schedule your free analysis by calling 317-349-5212. That's 317-349-5212. 317-349-5212. The news is next. 93 WIBC.
Pat Sullivan here. Fire emergency? I've had one.
WIBC Mobile News. On the level. On the go.
Your week will be chilly. It's mostly cloudy and 34 degrees here in downtown Indy. I'm Jake McDaniel. Here's what's trending at 12:03. There's still a chance of light snow and freezing drizzles Sunday. Roads could be dangerous this afternoon and evening. While temperatures will be freezing, you may not get a lot more snow on Monday.
Should be dry, partly cloudy, but we will be quite a bit colder again. We may fall during much of the day with our highs in the upper teens to low 20s.
Joseph Neild from the National Weather Service in Indianapolis. Cold air will be something to look out for throughout the week. A woman was shot and killed near an apartment on Indy's south side Saturday. Officers say it happened on Salisbury Lane. Medical assistance was called, but the girl did not survive after she was shot.
Whether you may have heard shots being fired throughout the night, we don't know exactly what time this occurred.
IMPD Public Information Officer William Young, he says officers are not sure what led up to the shooting. They also haven't said if she lived at the apartment or not. If you have any information, you can give the department a call. Indiana Hoosier men's basketball team was blown out by Iowa Saturday night, 85-60. IU head coach Mike Woodson.
We failed in all three areas tonight, and that's something you can't have when you go out on the road, so we got to be better.
He says in order to win games on the road, you have to rebound, not turn the ball over and make shots. They will play Illinois Tuesday night at 7 o'clock. WIBC News Time at 12:04, and here's the forecast from the American Standard Heating Weather Center.
For today, cloudy with winds gusting to 25 miles an hour. A few spotty light snow showers or flurries possible this evening. Little to no snow accumulation expected. Highs in the mid-30s. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Ryan Morse for 93 WIBC.
And I'm Jake McDaniel on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
It's a harsh fact of life, but failure is inevitable.
You can work harder than you ever thought possible and still lose.
Sometimes, someone else is simply better than you.
While life teaches us that we will sometimes lose, education-based athletics teach us how to deal with those losses in a mentally healthy way. I'm Bella Miller-Krieger from University High School.
And I'm Charlie Hosnow from Forest Park High School. With our coaches and teammates supporting us, student athletes learn how to move past the letdown and focus on the next point, the next play, and the next game.
We learn that negative energy is wasted energy, and that no matter how many times we fall short, as long as we are learning and never give up, we'll ultimately win.
I'm IHSAA Commissioner Paul Knighty. Be a champion of high school sports and the resiliency they build by buying a ticket to your high school's athletic events. This is overcoming adversity. This is developing mental toughness. This is your IHSAA.
Hey, Terry.
Hi, Denny.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon,
Sweet
Kielynn.
Kielynn. There we go.
34 degrees outside.
And isn't that wonderful? That's a
feels
heat
so
wave.
warm. I mean, it feels so warm. It really
Golly.
does. But don't get too used to it. The bottom's gonna drop out in any minute now. It's the second hour of the first day, the WIBC Sunday Magazine Show. Thank you all so much for joining us, whether it's listening to us on the radio or listening and watching us online. We're streaming on YouTube right now. Thank you for being here. It's January 12th, 2025. Be careful out there. Might have a little snow moving in. Well, very light snow moving in this afternoon, later this evening, I guess. I don't know.
Nothing like an accurate weather report.
Hey, you know what? It's Girl Scout cookie time.
They got rid of a couple cookies.
Not yet.
Not yet? Okay.
The ones you're talking about are those, is it the s'mores? The s'mores. I think
was
they're
one of them, but there was another one.
The toffee yay or something like that. Toasty yay. It was one I wasn't familiar with. I'm not sure we get it in this market. But Girl Scout cookie time. Support the Girl Scouts. Buy a cookie. They're so good. The Thin Mints, please. In fact, I'm looking for someone. We normally, growing up here in this building, basically there was always around Girl Scout cookie time, somebody had a Girl Scout and they post that sheet, the sign-up sheet on the refrigerator. But everybody's grown up and the kids have gone, they're in college now.
And they're not making babies anymore, you know?
We don't have cookies to order in the building. So I'm looking for, if anybody knows, I'm looking for a Girl Scout to order cookies. If not, go to girlscoutsindiana.org.
And you can find Terri at Terri, Terri,
Yeah.
at WIBC.com.
Yep. I need some peanut butter ones, and I also need some Thin Mints. That's what I'm looking for.
What was the one that basically was so rare last year?
It was the raspberry. It was a couple of years ago, Denny, and it was they were selling them. They were so
on the black market
demand. They were selling them online. And Girl Scouts said, you're not going to do that. We don't like it. This is for the Girl Scouts, and so you're profiting, and so stop it." And then they pulled that particular cookie to make a statement, I guess. I don't know, but I miss them. They were good. Listen, we are glad you're here with us. As we mentioned, we're going to talk about Indy Ignite. You know, we have a lot of things to cheer for. The Pacers are still out there. IU did not do well last night at all.
Wait, that's being gracious.
Awful.
Didn't do well.
Just awful. But Indy Ignite, I'm told that this is who you cheer for now. Volleyball, women's professional volleyball. We're going to hear about the sport. If you don't know much about professional volleyball, we'll hear about that coming up at the bottom of the hour. But 239-9393 is our number. And I believe joining us on the phone, Denny, it's our friend Brian Poynter, host of Indiana Outdoors, heard across the state, right here in Indy on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
The Brian Poynter?
Brian? Yeah.
It's like the Ohio State University.
Oh, gosh.
If I hear that one more time, I'm going to punch somebody in the face.
I know. All about poisonous nuts. You know, I just, everybody loves Buckeyes, right?
Poisonous nuts.
That's what a Buckeye is. Don't eat a Buckeye. It'll kill you. No.
You know, we didn't have
Are you talking about the peanut butter ones? Those are kind of good.
No, those are really good.
The peanut butter Buckeyes are what's one of my favorite
My buddy
candies.
Ashley makes those for us, and oh my gosh.
was
Well,
so
Brian,
good.
how are you, buddy?
Our good buddy Joe Stasiak and I are on opposite ends of January 20th coming up here because he Ohio State player and Colt, and I, of course, a lifelong Notre Dame fan.
Yes, sir.
Still pinching myself. So, do you guys have any good ideas? Because we're supposed to get together and solidify a bet. And I know Joe likes to eat a lot of fun stuff. We ought to turn this into something fun.
Wow.
Oh, that's a good thought. Into a bet on about you think, and you're saying incorporate eating into the bet.
Well, you know how goofy he is because he'll eat anything.
You know, his wife Pam makes the best Buckeyes, the peanut butter and chocolate Buckeyes. His wife Pam makes the best ones ever. We get them for Christmas, and
so good.
So
don't make him mad because that's what you want to win.
Very well, because I don't get Buckeyes.
I don't get the Buckeyes either.
Well, it's a fair trade. I'll just say that.
Well, you know,
it's a fair trade.
Good luck to Notre Dame.
Yeah.
Well, I think all of us are cheering for Notre Dame. So, are you going to go, Brian?
No, as you probably are aware, one of my sons went to Notre Dame, young son, and he is going. He's had just quite a year. He started out at Texas A&M, and he's been several other places. And he was texting me yesterday that he secured airline tickets, and he said they are ridiculous to go to Atlanta.
Yeah, they are, and they're hard to find now. They're hard to find.
Well, there's a lot going on in Atlanta. They got 3.5 inches of snow, Brian, and they canceled so many. I think there were like 780 just normal flights were canceled. So now the price has gone up, and it couldn't be a worse time to buy a ticket to Atlanta.
Southwest added some flights, but they went in a minute, and they were like $300 or $400 round trip, leaving on the 20th and then coming back on the 21st. But they released more. They may do that again. I don't know. Somebody may, but at the moment you can't find a ticket unless you want to go that night. And the game starts at what time, Brian?
7:30.
Yeah, you don't want to fly out at night.
Hey, why are we interviewing him about outdoor Indy? No, because I got a question about commercial real estate.
It's so easy to talk to him. I mean, really, you forget we're even on the radio, but it is 12:11, and I am in a studio with headphones on, so we're on the radio right now.
Yeah.
And Denny was talking about we were talking about frozen ponds yesterday, and Denny had some kind of scientific way to measure cold ice. But is it cold enough for Indiana lakes to freeze over for ice fishing yet?
Man, I sure hope so.
Well, I can tell you the answer to that is it depends, because what's good for you on your pond might not necessarily be good for somebody even in your own community. It all depends. And generally, our good friends in our conservation officer, law enforcement friends, you need about 4 inches of solid ice, clear solid ice. So I would say that it's been cold. As a matter of fact, yesterday on the Indiana Outdoor Show, we had like a little outdoor writer, W-R-I-T-E-R, round table with some of my favorite people. And John Martino was on his way out to go ice fishing right after the show. So he felt that it was. But, yeah, I'd say in certain parts of the state, and that's the thing about ice fishing is you can never it's there and then it's not. So it changes all the time, and you have to be so aware. And as I like to say, and our conservation officers like to say, you got to check the ice.
There's only one way. You got to drill the ice and measure it. If you got 4 inches, even Brian, who's a mere 140 pounds, and me, I'm in more like 180. You still have to measure the ice, and 4 inches is the threshold, right, Brian?
Yeah, and the thing is, no ice is safe ice.
Right.
That's what our law enforcement says. And it's the truth. I am personally petrified of ice. I don't know. I didn't have any incidents. I don't know where that came from. Maybe I watched too many of the Alaska TV shows where people fall through the ice.
Yeah, it's
that
scary.
is just horrible.
It's terrible.
It's horrible.
It is. It is a nightmare when you think about. And I'm like you, Brian, but I know that, in fact, yesterday there was a rescue on the south side. Somebody went after their dog, and the dog's okay. People are okay, but it was a frightening moment out there on one of the retention ponds.
Don't go after your dog. Don't go after her.
No, wait a minute, Denny.
I know.
I'm with you, Brian. I would panic and go out.
If there's a dog involved, I'll go out on a half an inch ice.
Yeah.
If it's my guy.
If it's your guy, I
know.
No,
I'm just kidding. You got to be very, very careful. However, it is truly one of the great traditions of winter when we have it. The bottom line is we might have 2 or 3 or 4 days of really cold weather, and then it switches. Just wait 10 minutes. We live in Indiana, and then that ice is deteriorated. I'll tell you what I want to do on my bucket list. I want to go up to Michigan, Wisconsin, where those good, fun-loving folks, they get out there and build condominiums on ice and stay out there and have TVs and food and cook.
Drive their truck right out there next to it, to their shanty.
Sleep in them. Yeah. You can even sleep in them. Just drill a hole and take a nap.
Yeah. So the best time really here, well, there's not, I guess you just can. It's all about the ice. Do we have a lot of ice fishermen in Indiana?
Oh, heck yeah. It's truly one of the great traditions. It's kind of like squirrel hunting. It comes in August, and it's a great rite of passage for young folks because it's fun. It's forgiving. I mean, what could be more enjoyable than going sitting out when it's 0 degrees outside and 30-mile-an-hour winds?
What lunacy!
On a lake.
What are we teaching these kids? It ain't fun.
It does seem strange, but I wonder.
You got my humor there, but yeah, it's huge, and there's special equipment and rods and reels.
Yeah.
They sell these shanties. It's all good. I love everything about it. Winter's my time of the year. Holy smokes! But yeah, I really haven't done it a whole lot because it's so contingent on the weather, and you got a brief minute. It's not like up north where they freeze; they stay solid. You got a foot of ice. You can drive cars on it, and there are a ton of folks that enjoy ice fishing. I would say that I'm one of them, but it's got to be the right circumstance and safe.
I think sitting in a shanty with a 6-inch or 8-inch hole
and a TV
I'm sorry, that's why they make couches. My God, go home.
But Brian said, it's such a rarity, it's such a treat to be able to do it, and it's very
about the camaraderie.
It's the camaraderie.
You can't put walleye on the table for a northern pike when you're sitting on your couch, Denny. I know that you've got people, and that's what you've grown accustomed to.
Enough.
No, wait. No, I just want to ask a question because it's very different than fishing in the summertime or the springtime. It's a different. You fish at a different time, right? It's not like getting up in the morning before the sun comes up and fishing. It's a different time you fish, right?
I don't know about that. I mean, there's all kinds of opportunities. It's not like deer hunting, or bird hunting. Heck, get out and enjoy it. The fish are going to bite if they're hungry, and if you're in the right place at the right time, it's truly a great experience. When you start pulling in a whole bunch of panfish, take them back and have a fish fry in January, I'm all for that.
I'm all for that, too.
Sounds good.
Here's the way to do it, though. Ice Queen Virtual Ice Fishing Tournament is coming up on the 25th in all legal waters statewide in Indiana. We've got the Ice Queen Virtual Ice Fishing Tournament. I don't know what that means, but maybe that does mean sitting in your house and fishing.
No, it's pretty funny because it's actually interesting that you bring this up. So there are tournaments that are kind of for fun, but they're virtual, and you take a picture and there's verification because it timestamps where and when. And it's kind of a fun opportunity for people statewide to participate where they may not be able to get to a fishing tournament. And usually there's some small prizes, but it's kind of fun. I like the idea, and the technology and phone is so easy to do it. It kind of, Denny will find a way to scam the system because he's just one of those guys that wants to win.
Well, yeah, of course. Hey, Brian, we got to take a break here.
We
but
do.
When we
I
come
just
back,
looked at the time.
I've got another question for you when we come back,
Sure.
and it has to do with quail in Indiana. I'm told there's no more quail, so...
More with Brian Poynter when we return.
We'll stick around.
93 WIBC.
Ken
Collaborate and listen. I sit back with
It's 1223. Brian Poynter is with us. He's the host of Indiana Outdoors. You can hear across the state and right here in Indy on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan. Thanks for sticking around. I appreciate you doing that. What's your name? But Denny's got a question for you.
Hey, Brian, I just sent you the formula for calculating how long it takes for ice to freeze. But that being said, I've got some real bird hunters who are good friends, and they are going all the way out to Kansas to find quail. Do we not have quail left in Indiana for shooting?
Very, very sparse, and it all comes down to habitat. There are certainly quail still left here in the state, but it is one of those species that relies on habitat, and we got great groups like Quail Unlimited, Pheasants Unlimited, or Pheasants Forever, great organizations that are trying to preserve habitat. And we have quail, but it's not like some of the other places around this Midwest that really have great populations. You go down the Southeast and other places, but yeah, they're here.
Do they taste good?
Yes, they
Quail?
taste good.
I don't think I've ever had a quail.
It's like filet mignon.
No way.
Yeah, they're pretty good.
I've never had a quail. Interesting.
I feel like they're greasy.
Yeah, like it would be greasy and pulley, like chewy.
How are you cooking them?
How can they be greasy?
They're like slimy, I feel like.
Kielynn, they're not slimy.
I'm greasy, not a quail.
Yeah. See what I put up with, Brian? I tried to tell you about these two ladies.
We have 2 more minutes. Where we're also talking about, again, getting out there and having a good time out in this cold weather in the snow.
Yes.
Do you also cover skiing and snowboarding on Indiana Outdoors?
Different. Can you see me on a snowboard? If you ever are down and you're sad, you just want to laugh, just picture me on a snowboard.
No, listen, everybody weighs the same when you're going downhill on a ski.
Wouldn't that help you more?
I don't bounce. I break. No way.
You break.
All right, Brian.
I'm getting the only board I'm getting on is a gurney.
Brian.
Oh, Brian.
We always enjoy you.
You guys are great. I always love doing this. Stay in touch. Hey, you talk about fun getting out in the outdoors. Some of our state parks have new challenges. Be looking out for those, where you can go in and take pictures, get prizes at Indiana State Parks. Kind of fun. So
and don't forget the toboggan up at Pokagon.
Oh, that's
Boy, that is really fast
that's
and
cool.
fun.
We should do something up
Thanks,
there. That's
Brian.
fun. Hey, Brian, we enjoy you so much. We really do. Brian Poynter. You're crazy about him. All right, we're going to take a break. Today's top stories, they're coming up next on 93 WIBC. 93 WIBC, it's Terri Stacy along with Kielynn and Indiana's first professional women's volleyball team, Indy Ignite, is ready for their big debut on their home court at the Fishers Event Center. And we are so happy to have Carly Klanac with us. She is Indy Ignite's Vice President of Marketing and Game Day Experience. Carly, hi.
Hi. How are you guys? I am so excited.
You are so perfect for this job.
I'm so glad to be here. First of all, I have the greatest team on the face of the planet. They have been working so hard, and it is so fun because everyone in our front office is just so passionate about what we're doing. We are elevating women in sports. We are giving young girls in Indiana someone to look up to on the floor, in our staff, in our fire starters, in our team. And we are just here to bring volleyball to the main stage. As a washed-up college player myself, this is like my childhood dream absolutely come true. It is so fun to be a part of. I cannot even imagine. I would not have imagined this when I was little, that I would be able to bring this to Indiana, and I cannot wait for people to be at Fishers Event Center and experience what we are bringing to the table.
Where did you grow up?
I grew up in Colorado, so I am not a Hoosier, but so my husband is a assistant coach at Purdue for their volleyball team. So we knew coming in that Indiana is a volleyball state, and the sellout this weekend just is absolutely a testament. We have had so many fans calling in, asking about where they can buy merch and how they can get there early and when does the bonfire start? Can I have a s'more? We can't wait to come to the thing. I cannot tell you how excited we have been, and frankly, it's exactly what I expected from Hoosiers. Like, they just love volleyball. The volleyball here is so good from a club and a college level. Adding pro here is like the perfect marriage. And also, women's sports is just having a moment right now.
Yeah.
And so bringing that here with volleyball, I mean, it's just going to be electric all season.
Yeah, timing was perfect. What was the challenge of getting the team to have a team?
First of all, the challenge of just getting a league started is crazy. I mean, everybody's seen, the XFLs and stuff that have come in. There's a lot that goes into just getting a league in general. So we're a part of the Pro Volleyball Federation, the PVF. There's actually a couple of different leagues, fledgling leagues kind of popping up here and there. Their inaugural season was last year. And so we're an expansion team. This is our first year, but the league's second year. There's a whole process of applying and trying to select the right city that's going to have the right people, where it's going to really make the magic happen. Fishers is the right city, and you will see if you come Thursday, because Fishers Event Center is the perfect size for this. People at the venue there are just amazing. They're super excited too. It has been years of putting in the RFP, of building this, of looking to see what makes Indiana perfect. Volleyball is the fastest growing team sport for girls here, so we knew it was a hotbed.
Tell us a little bit more about the team. Indy Ignite's roster has some amazing players already, including an Indiana native, the #1 draft pick. Let's go another, Caitlin Clark.
They are all amazing. Some big hits from me. Our setter, Sydney Hilly, is just an absolute baller. Like you said, we have some top draft picks coming in from the collegiate world. We have two players specifically from Louisville, and Anna DeBeer and Elena Scott. They were in the championship this past year. They're absolutely phenomenal, have had unbelievable careers. We also absolutely love our member Mena. We call her Lek. First of all, a short queen. Everyone assumes that volleyball players are tall, but she is 5'7" and just absolutely, she's clocked a 63-mile-an-hour serve, which is unbelievable. Just imagine a ball coming at you at 63 miles an hour. It's insane. Wow. And she will be on the floor. She's going to be hitting the ball. Just, again, if you have not seen volleyball before, come to a game, because the speed of the ball, the excitement of the game, it's so different than any other sport just because of the nature of the game itself. Lek is going to be one to really look out for. She's going to be a 6-row outside, which for the non-volleyball people means that she's going to be hitting from the left side of the court in the front row, but then she's also going to be in the back row, like passing, defending, and hitting out of the back row. So that's something that a lot of people can't do. That's a lot of different skills. Like the fact she can do both of those things so well is awesome. And then you talked about Hoosiers. Kylie Murr, our resident Muncie kid, is a libero DS. So again, for the non-volleyball people, libero is someone who wears a different colored jersey. She is a 2-time state championship from Indiana. Honestly, like, so fun to watch. She's just so passionate. She is, again, kind of another short queen. She will be one of the biggest personalities out on the court and also can dig bullets.
Carly Klanac is her name, and she's Indy Ignite's Vice President of Marketing and Game Day Experience. Let's talk about that game day experience.
Yes. So again, if you have never seen volleyball, I cannot express to you enough that it's just different. The nature of the game is different. So like the camaraderie and the excitement after every single point is huge. You're screaming together. Everybody comes together. The power is just so prevalent in what the players are doing with how high they're jumping, how hard they're hitting, the sound of the ball hitting the floor, the sound of the block. And we are trying to pull that in with our game day experience.
It's been so fun to see the support from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, from the Indiana Fever. Fellow sports teams that are here around are like cheering you on. And
I'm excited also. This is going to be a new experience for everybody witnessing pro volleyball. But then the Fishers Event Center, too. That's a new development here.
Such a fantastic job with the venue. It's very high tech, very clean, very sleek. There's a little bit of development still happening around it, but they've got this lawn out front, which we'll be doing a bonfire with s'mores and hot chocolate before the inaugural game. That's like my fire dreams are coming true. I think the first time I told them I wanted a bonfire on opening night, I got some like crazy looks, but it's happening. So it'll be great. Make sure you're there. And they have done a lot of work just to make it inclusive. They have a sensory room. They also have a mother's room, which is awesome because I have a 7-month-old, so I probably use it more than anyone else. So just some really cool things they're doing with the community, as well as just this high-tech, really nice venue that we get to play in. And for volleyball, it's like the perfect size. We've got, I believe, capacity is about 7,500, and so to have that many people in the building, which it just adds to the experience because it's so intimate and so wonderful. And even just talking about it, I'm like starting to shake. I'm so excited.
Oh, boy, we're excited for you too. Honestly, Carly, January 16th will be the next game at the Fishers Event Center. I know you go through May. How many games are on the schedule?
There are 14 home games on the schedule, and then we also have All-Star from the PBS that will be coming on February 22nd to the Fishers Event Center, which is super excited. It's the first PBF All-Star match, and we're just so lucky to be able to be the host city for that.
What's the mascot?
Yes.
Pepper.
Pepper.
Pepper's amazing.
No, wait a minute. Pepper. How does the name Pepper? What is it? How's Pepper? Does Pepper relate to volleyball? What's Pepper mean?
Yes. So Pepper, if you're a volleyball person, you know exactly what Pepper means. But first of all, she's spicy, so that's part of it. But the other side of it is Pepper is like what we call a warm-up. So it'll be two people passing the ball back and forth, and you pass that hit. If you come early and watch the warm-ups, the people will be passing the balls back and forth together. That is called peppering.
Oh.
So it's something that everybody in volleyball knows. Why? Like I coach high school kids, and so I'll be like, all right, grab a ball and pepper. Or if I'm annoyed at them and want them to move on from a drill, I'll be like, hey, when you're done, go pepper. Please don't bother me. But peppering is something that like all volleyball people know, and if you're not a volleyball person, you'll get to come and see it. Pepper is at the spa today, getting ready for this weekend. And so just know that she is going to bring the heat.
It's for real. She's a diva and a fashionista, Terri. I'm so excited to see all her outfits.
Oh, my gosh.
We are all in love with Pepper.
And one more question. I'm sorry, again, just another basic question. But did you get to name the team, or was the team Ignite given to you guys by the league?
So we got to name the team. We worked with an amazing organization to, again, really go through and see branding-wise what we're calling this. Ignite came about because we want to ignite the fire for volleyball in Indiana. There are already sparks with all of the club players, all the high school players, all of the collegiate success that's here. And so bringing this pro team really takes those little sparks and ignites the fire for volleyball in Indiana, because Indiana is a volleyball state.
We wish you all the very best, but you know what? Win or lose, whatever happens on Saturday, it is just the beginning of a fantastic time
that we're going to have with our first women's professional volleyball right here, Indy Ignite. All right, Carly, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yes, let's light it up.
Let's light it up. They won last night. I do believe. Think they had a great opening
They
night.
sure did. 3-1.
3-1.
They won 3 of their sets, yeah.
Everybody looked like they were having the best time in some of the footage I've seen. So anyway, get out there. The next game is on Thursday. We're going to take a break. We've got food news coming up next. But did you know the Social Security Trust Fund is expected to run out of money in less than 10 years? It's not good. But according to Barron's, an average couple could lose up to $16,500 every year in Social Security income. Multiply that by 10 or 20 years, and it could easily add up to hundreds of thousands of dollars. And that's why it is critical you have the right strategy to file for Social Security. And you can discover how you can wring every nickel out of your benefits with a free, customized Social Security analysis. It's from Bill Demery, your retirement guy right here in Indy. He's been my retirement guy for a long time, helped my family. We trust Bill, and you can too. If you've saved more than $200,000 and have not filed for Social Security, schedule your free analysis by calling 317-349-5212. That's 317-349-5212. 317-349-5212.
1 in 6 seniors faces the threat of harm.
for us today some fabulous
food news.
Not just food news, fabulous food
Some
news.
great food news, let me tell you. And so much to talk about. First, I want to mention you need to mark your calendars. Get out that 2025 calendar. This Thursday, Savor the Garage with our friends at the Garage Food Hall in the Bottle Works District.
Yeah, that's a good one.
They have the $5 tasting menu exclusive for the store, 5 to 9 again on Thursday. Devour Indies coming up in a little bit, starting on January 20th. National Popcorn Day is next Sunday, January 19th. Cinemark is celebrating with a BYOB deal, a bring your own bucket, $5 for your own bucket. The only catch is that the container you choose to bring can only be up to 400 ounces, which ends up being 2 extra large buckets.
That's
so I
pretty
think that's
big
okay.
bucket.
Yeah,
I think
it's
we have
huge.
that's down in. I think we have one of those places in on the south side, right? One of those theaters.
Yeah, yep.
South side.
Yep, any of the Cinemark theaters. That's again Sunday for $5 popcorn. And then National Bagel Day is this Wednesday, January 15th. And to celebrate with us, we've got Bees Bagels, Dory Cauldron. She's an Indianapolis native and co-owner of Bees Bagels. Dory, thank you so much for taking time.
Hi.
It is crazy busy at the bagel shop, so thank you again for taking time. This is one of the newest bagel shops in central Indiana. It's up in Westfield off of Spring Mill Road. Dory, just take it away. Your story is so fun to me. Share a bit about your background with us and how it led to you being part of Bees Bagels.
Okay. Thank you so very much, first of all. I have owned my own catering company for 30 years. My catering company is Blue Bakes, and I pride myself on extremely healthy meals. I've been doing this for a very long time. In fact, I opened a coffee shop. I didn't open a coffee shop. A coffee shop opened at the corner of where I lived, and somebody said, you need to get your desserts in there. Sure enough, I went. Her name at the time was Liza. I brought her a couple of desserts, and she got me started. That is how I got started. I was fortunate enough to also be a personal chef for 14 years to 7 families, 5 days a week. I delivered dinners to all of them.
That's cool.
I'm sorry?
I said that's cool.
Yeah, pretty neat.
Thank you. It is the most rewarding thing, the most challenging and rewarding things, night after night, coming up with very healthy meals to satisfy all of my families. I would then leave it. I would get up at, let's say, 4 o'clock in the morning. I have hot coffee every morning, crossword puzzles, and then I begin my day. And when I then would get a text from a husband that would say, oh, my God, that was the best meal ever. You can imagine how rewarding that is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Also, I've been a vegetarian 45 years. Yeah, would I love to cook vegetarian every single day? Of course. Can I? Absolutely not. So I had to figure out how to make meatloaf really good. I had to figure out how to make all these things that I've never had really good. I have been making my pecan cranberry chicken salad for 30 years. I've never put a morsel of it in my mouth. I have no idea what it tastes like, but I make it, and I make it, let's say 4 days a week because that's how many people order it. So hopefully I do know what I'm doing by now. So my son-in-law is from Long Island. That is B. And he married my daughter 10 years ago, but they knew each other for 10 years prior to getting married. I remember when they finally moved back to Indiana, he said to me, these were his words. He goes, your bagels suck here. I go, they do?
Oh, my gosh.
I mean, that is exactly how he said it. And I thought, what's wrong with them? What do you mean? He goes, they're small. They're just not good. This is not a New York bagel. I went, well, okay. I mean, I had no idea really what he was talking about.
Yeah, me
until I then opened up this. So he said to me, so what do you think about you and I joining hands and we do bagels and all your amazing other things? And I'm like, all right, let's do it. I haven't told you how old I am, but I just turned 65, and I'm at my age. I can't believe I'm doing this.
That's such a great story.
That's great.
It's a great story. And you're doing it, but are you loving it? Are you having a great time?
You know what I am. I'm going to be very honest. It was slightly challenging in the beginning. I had no idea that people didn't want to work and that we would be struggling to find staff. I'm being honest. Call me stupid, call me something. I don't know, but
I call you a plumbing contractor because that's exactly what everybody faces. Hey, can you tell us about this heavenly hash that we're showing on the camera?
We're showing everybody with a couple different samples.
Oh, my gosh.
Heavenly hash is what she decided because she is a vegetarian, so this is one of her favorites, and it's got the house dressing. Yes, tell us more.
Exactly. So I got to be honest, okay, that is my house salad dressing. I make a blue baked chopped chopped spinach salad, and I think it's the best. And I literally made this dressing about 20 years ago, and I sell it. I mean, in bottles like you can't believe. I sell it all day long. People come and they go, "Can I just buy the salad dressing?" I go, "Well, of course you can just buy the salad dressing." So I do it. So when we started this, and we put together hash browns, so we take our hash browns, we put them with peppers and onions, and we grill them. You know what I mean? We get them nice and good. And then I said to them, "Wait, my dressing on top of that." And they're like, "Wait, what?" I go, "Just try it." And sure enough, I have to make my dressing like every 3 days. That's how much we go through. And I make a huge vat of it, and we go through it. People have no idea that that's really on it. But when literally a dude walks in and he goes, "So what do you recommend?" I go, "All right, try my heavenly hash." And he came back, this one really nice guy did. He came back the next day and he goes, "That was by far the best." I'm like, "Well, thank you."
You'll
so
know he's serious.
Me, "What do you recommend?" I go, "That's what I recommend." I don't know what the pick me up, the bacon thing tastes like, or the grind one, which is the sausage. I have no idea what those taste like, nor do I want to go that route. But my very first day walking in here, there was, you can imagine how much bacon on the grill. And I looked at it and I went, "Is it going to smell like this every day?" I mean, I had no idea.
Poor
They
vegetarian.
all just looked at me like, and I'm the only one that, I go, okay. And now it doesn't even faze me. I'm used to it. It's, I even touched bacon today with my gloves on. You'd be so proud of me.
Dory, you're hilarious.
You've also set us up with a cinnamon raisin, an onion, and a pumpernickel bagel. You've taken good care of us. And even the schmears, jalapeno and cheddar, knockout, which is chives and onions. And then also you have a monthly special schmear of cream cheese with the hot cocoa.
Oh, it's good.
Yes. Hot cocoa. Oh, thank you. Hot cocoa is January. Next February, we're going with the red velvet cake. Cream cheese, and we're also gonna do 2 for February. We're also gonna do chocolate covered strawberry cream cheese.
Oh my gosh!
I mean, why not? Right?
Why not? Because I could eat your cream cheese, your hot cocoa. Just, I mean, it's edible on its own. You know,
yes,
it's so good.
People, this what they come. They go. You know what? I just get a spoon, or I just get something I want to eat, and I just dip it in that. And I go, all right, well, I'm good. We pride ourselves on really being creative. I mean, nobody else has that. Hopefully. You know what I mean? I don't know what every bagel shop has, but I can kind of assume. I know another bagel shop that I used to go to get my bagels. I do. Let's say 80% of bar and bat mitzvahs at synagogues. I am of the Jewish faith, so I do a lot of bar and bat mitzvahs, and we do bagels, lox, and cream cheese, and that's what we do.
Yeah.
And sure enough, I used to get my bagels somewhere else, of course, and they now don't ever see me, and they're probably like, "What happened to her?"
Your bagels are truly, I am a bagel fan and have tried all the bagels, and this is the very best I've ever had. And that hash, had that
heavenly hash.
Heavenly hash is truly the best breakfast sandwich I've ever had. And where are you? Because where are you? Where are you located?
Oh, sorry. 161st and Spring Mill. Just go north on Spring Mill. We're on the left-hand side, right there at 161st.
Okay, all right.
Can't miss it.
No,
It's
that's
such
where
a cute
wait a
spot.
minute. That's where the Kroger store is too, is it right?
You got it.
Yeah, I know where you are. I know where you are.
I could walk to the Kroger. Yep.
Oh, Denny, you're going to have to pick these up
We
for
only
me every
have
once in a while.
about a minute left. You guys will be celebrating National Bagel Day as well, right?
You were going to ask me, and thank you for letting us know it was National Bagel Day. And to be real honest, I mean, sorry, I didn't get that memo. Nobody sent me that memo. But to be really honest, it's going to be a surprise because I have no idea. They haven't told me. I'm, just because I'm one of the owners, I'm one of those last to know anything. You know what I'm saying?
Even better, because you guys, your social media is amazing. Bees, Bagels, Indy, and that's where you can stay tuned for your guys' National Bagel Day.
Surprise. We just haven't decided what we're going to do yet, but hopefully it'll be something to make everybody happy.
You're the best.
Today,
love it.
I love talking with everybody out there. You know what I mean? And whenever there's an itty bitty little pumpkin pie that walks in, you know me, I gotta go make friends. You know what I mean? It's just what I do.
Yeah.
I used to be a school teacher well before 40 years ago, before I did any of this.
I think you're awesome. Thank you so much for everything today.
Dory
We loved
Cauldron.
it. Yeah, we will
Thank
be
you,
there.
Dory.
See you
guys.
Thank you so much. Oh my gosh, is she awesome?
I love you.
Really terrific.
Oh, and this food, please check out Bees Bagels for yourself.
Oh, I forgot to propose marriage. Daggone it, I missed my
Denny,
opportunity.
You'll have to wait now till next time.
Oh, boy.
All right, everybody, have a great rest of your day. Thank you so much for joining us here on the first day. We'll talk to you next weekend. Bye.
Greetings from R&R Agency, your Indiana health insurance pros. And a thank you to our loyal customers for making our